It does change. Wow. It literally goes from scheduled to live, and now I see a count up clock. What are we counting up to? The Knicks getting another W mill, first one of the damn season. What a game. Literally the opposite of Wednesday night, where we were down the whole time. We came back, took a little lead, and then the lead was gone. But this time, it was the opposite. The Hawks came back. They took a mini lead. And then the Knicks tried their butts off to lose the game, but they couldn't because the Hawks just couldn't finish an alley-oop. And Mitchell Robinson, with the best play that a center has ever done in the NBA, nicking the ball with his ring finger, I think, to just tip it from Clint Capella's hand. And he missed. And then Julius Randle made 4 out of 6 free throws. And he made 4 out of 6 free throws because he got his own rebound on a missed free throw. And that was all amazing. And if we could get Point Randle to play more often during the year, and for RJ Barrett to actually become the second best scorer on our team, and for Jalen Brunson to never play like Wednesday again, we'll win a lot of games.
You said it perfectly. That was a crazy ending. Oh my God, that was the most Knick ending I've ever seen. The way
Jalen Brunson literally threw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. We almost completely choked out there. We gave them a chance. Yeah. They can't say we didn't give them a chance because we really did. That was really scary, honestly. Got my heart beating pretty fast right there. But without further ado, let's just get straight into it. The Knicks did win this game, 126-120. Hawks lost by Trae Young. You know, it just, every time we play him, every time he plays against us, it further proves the point that he does not own the Knicks anymore. He loses the games against us. He usually doesn't play good against us anymore. I don't even know. How many points did he have? I'm going to check right here.
Trae Young had 18 points on 4 of 16 shooting. That's really efficient. And 6 turnovers. So he really killed it, you know?
And apparently he still owns us.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know why people continue to say that. Oh, we got Trippy over here commenting. Let me show these comments. We did win. I don't know if you saw the ending, Trippy.
It was a wild ending.
Brunson 31 free throw buckets.
Trae Young is now 5-14 against the Knicks in his career.
Thank you for pulling that up. I wish I could plaster that next to us instead of these stats.
It might be 5-13. I don't know how fast. It might actually be 5-13. I was assuming StatMuse didn't already update today, but he's 5-13 in his career against the Knicks, so he's not really doing that much. And he shoots 30. He has a terrible shooting percentage. This man shoots 41%, less than 35% from 3. He has a negative plus-minus in his career against the Knicks of -28. Why does anyone really say this dude owns the Knicks anymore? Or I don't even think Atlanta fans think that.
I mean, I haven't seen anyone recently say it, except I did see he went on JJ Redick's podcast. I think this was a few months ago, and he was with another speaker. I don't know his name, but they were saying that the Knicks have to win a playoff series against him in order, to be better than him and to consider that he doesn't own us anymore. One fluky playoff series win against us, and he's the king of New York.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
And that narrative, please. But, let's get into it. The first half, I tried to catch as much of it as I could. I was very busy doing a few things here. But I did watch the first quarter. The second quarter, I missed a little bit from. Do you want to talk about the first half a little bit, what you saw?
Yeah, so really, really high scoring first half. It was actually RJ started out on fire. RJ carried them. I think he had 8 or 10 points in the first quarter. And Randall was Randall was cool. He started out 0 of 2, and you could tell by even his first 3-point attempt, he didn't seem like he had it. Like it hit the front of the rim, even though he was shooting from the corner, which is usually like your alignment's not there. And he went into point forward Randall mode. He would just back a guy down. He almost always had a guard on him. Oddly enough, the Hawks, you know how like the discourse in the offseason was like the Knicks are going to get destroyed by backup fours. They don't have a backup power forward now.
Yeah.
They're going to run too many. It's going to be 4 guards and Mitch or Ihart out there. The Hawks do the same thing. The Hawks literally have Okongwu as their backup big, and then they only run a 9-man rotation like the Knicks do. It's just AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson, who major leap from last year to this year. Good for this man. His athleticism is popping off the screen. Jalen Johnson is right now. The two of them in bogey. So they literally have 3 guards and 1 big coming off their bench too. So it didn't affect them at all. So Randall kept getting guards on him and would back them down, almost always get double teamed. And he just kept making the right read. And the right read usually ended up being, which a lot of teams from the past have obviously done out of the guys that are out there. Mitch isn't around the 3-point line, but between RJ, Grimes, or Brunson, you're leaving RJ open most of the time to shoot that 3. And RJ just popped him. I think he ended up 3 for 5 from 3. I'm assuming 3 of those attempts were in the first quarter based on how it looked, or at least in the first half. And
yeah,
the
in the first
ended
half,
up 9 of 15 from the field.
Yeah. In the first half, RJ had 14 points. He was 4 for 8 from the field and 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. So most of his other threes came in the second half. But yeah.
I went 2 for 2 in the second half. Nice.
Yeah. Definitely big first half for him. Again, we saw last game he carried the Knicks in that first half. I forgot how many points he had in that first half, but truly the offense was being carried by him because of Julius and Jalen Brunson's struggles. So it's really nice to see him being. I know I don't want to call it consistency because it's just 2 games, but it's nice to see that 2 games in a row of him stepping up for us, and especially when some of our main guys are struggling, like Randall. Shooting wise, though, not all around, he was struggling. But yeah, it's really nice to see him step up and be more efficient from the field, from the 3-point line. It's great what we're seeing so far from RJ.
100%. Randall almost ended up with a triple-double, it really goes to show how much he was able to do even with his shot not falling in the first half. He ended up with 12 rebounds and 9 assists. Yeah,
I wasn't going to put his stat line up here, but because I was making this towards like the mid-4th quarter, but he almost had a triple-double, as you said. So even though from the field he was struggling, especially in the first half, he did end up 4 for 10 from the field. Honestly, not too bad. 3 for 7 from the 3-point line. But like you said, he stepped up in other ways with the rebounds, the assists. I'm really surprised about the assists because this is the second game in a row that we've seen him, share the ball really well and overall have a nice all-around game despite not shooting well.
He's able to do it when he gets there. It's a matter of sometimes some games he'll get double teamed and he throws the ball away, or one of the guy coming on the backside of the double team actually does get to him and steals the ball. And then other games, I literally heard a couple times guys scream double team through the microphone on my TV watching the game. And I can't even remember the last time I heard that before. And Randall and Brunson both have dealt with double teams Randall's dealt with double teams since he's been here. Brunson dealt with it for a lot of the second half last year. So for them to even for teammates, just the team to be involved and be scream double team or scream double, you would know that a guy's coming from the backside. He made the right read more often than not. He ended up with 3 turnovers, but a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is point guard level skill. So you can't beat that. We have to talk about Jalen Brunson because he was really exactly happy to see Randall passing out a double team finally improved. It only took him till he was almost 30 years old and 9 years in the league, but better late than never, right? Jalen Brunson, was the leader of the second half of the game for sure. That one pass with 13 seconds left where he basically bounced it out of bounds into Randall's non-hand, notwithstanding, Brunson ended up with 31 points on 8 of 12 shooting from deep, which a lot of those were off passes and kickouts. So you can't beat that. Brunson was wide open on 4 of those threes at least.
Yeah. I'm really surprised how many threes he made this game. 8 for 12 from three. I looked it up, and he only averaged about 2 per game last season. So 8 threes is really surprising. And honestly, if he can keep it up, not 8 threes because that's a reach, but maybe like 5 to 6 per game, that would
Yeah.
be really crazy and good for him though, because obviously I said he only made 2 threes per game last season. So if he can elevate his game from the 3-point line, that makes him even more lethal. Clearly he can do it. We saw this game; he's very efficient from the 3-point line. But I'm really glad to see him playing well again, because you said it in the beginning. The Brunson we saw on Wednesday was scary. We never really seen him play like that. One of his worst games that I've seen him in a Knick uniform. But I'm glad that he got his soft touch back for those floaters and all those layups that he does. And the 3-pointers, it looked like he's back in midseason form with his 31 points. I'm really happy to see that, though.
Him missing those floaters on Wednesday was so weird. It was just so out of the ordinary.
Most of them were right on, though. They would go in and out. So, he should be making those, but he just didn't have the touch yet.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we could talk about Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo and that impact they had off the bench before we get to quickly. It does seem like Hart is struggling to get back into shape from FIBA, and knowing how hard Josh Hart plays and I only watched a few of the USA games, but when he's out there, he is running, man, no matter what level of basketball it is. And it would make sense that it would take him the longest amount of time to actually get his lungs back, get his legs back from under him, and probably adjust a little bit. It might just take Brunson a little bit, honestly. I know he had a great game tonight, but maybe he'll have some ups and downs in the early season like we're used to RJ having, just because he actually played over the summer for the first time since, I don't know, when he was in summer league.
Yeah, I agree with that. Josh Hart had a little bit of a quiet game, and we didn't really see him take too many shots. I think a lot of times I saw him pass up shots that he could have been taking. He took a lot of shots last season that I see him now passing up. I don't know if he's afraid to shoot that 3 anymore. Maybe he has PTSD from the Miami Heat playoff series and all those missed threes or whatever. But, like you said, FIBA probably knocked him up a little bit. Maybe he's fatigued from it. I don't even know, because he missed a preseason game, and Tibbs said something about that. He's just recovering from that. So it's interesting to see if Hart is going to adjust back to, regular NBA games, how he's going to do. I thought, playing in FIBA could either do 2 things. It could make you, start better, more efficient because you've been playing all summer, or it can make you fatigued. So maybe Hart is getting the fatigued version of that.
And based on their age and ability, it would make sense RJ would get the opposite. Yeah. He would get the better version.
Yeah, exactly. And, hopefully that's actually true with RJ, that we are seeing a better version of him coming into this new season, a consistent and efficient version of him.
So I know you said you missed part of the second quarter because you were busy. Did you see Dante start lighting up a little bit to hopefully, at least for one game, kick back why do we sign this guy, even though I'm one of the people that felt that way when it happened?
Yeah, I did see him hit a 3. Did he hit a 3 in that second quarter?
He hit 2 or 3. He ended up 6 for 10 and 3 for 5 from deep. He ended up with 16 points, and a lot of those came in the second quarter.
I was going to include his stats instead of Randall's in this picture, but we can go ahead and, recap his stats over here. But I think you just said it. He had 16 points on 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 5 from the 3-point line. He shot 2 free throws. That's pretty much it. Nothing really spectacular from the other stats. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Oh, he had 1 block too.
You watch him. You can tell he hustles.
Yeah, definitely. I said it before, but he reminds me so much of Josh Hart, especially when he grabs those boards. The way they grab it is so similar, and just because they're smaller guards, but they're really out there hustling. But I'm glad he had a good game, and we finally saw him score, because last game he was scoreless. Not what we expected or wanted, but he definitely stepped up this game, and he's showing us what he's made of and what he's bringing to the team this year.
I know no one cares or likes math or its involvement in sports, but when I'm just going to say a couple things real quick. When a guy is known to be like a 40% 3-point shooter and he goes 0 for the first game or one game, he's probably not going to miss them all the next game. Just odds, He didn't get to 40% on accident or by missing every time.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it definitely was hyperbole after Wednesday.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting. I don't know how long Tibbs was letting him run the point in the second half, but I did see a few plays where he was bringing up the ball primarily instead of quickly. But that also was not a good stretch in that second half. We weren't able to score in that period of time. But I think it was interesting that he was bringing up the ball. He can do that. I think that's similar to the position he played in Golden State as a backup point guard. So it'll be interesting if maybe him and Quickly switch positions every now and then. He runs the point and Quickly as shooting guard. So we'll see. Maybe.
Speaking of Quickly, did it feel like he shot as bad as he did? Like, looking at these numbers, I know I don't remember him making a lot. I just didn't remember him missing 8 threes.
I don't remember him either missing 8 threes and going 4 for 14 from the field. And I don't know why, because, that's bad. And if Randall were to do that, which he kind of did, we take note of it really quick and we notice it very well. Little surprised that Quickly put up those numbers. I thought in the first half, though, that he was doing pretty well. I guess all those misses came from the second half, though.
I'm assuming a lot of them came in the end of the third, at the beginning of the fourth. Yeah. I think what happened, to go back to the Dante thing, is I think they started having Dante more on ball, bringing the ball up the court, running quickly off ball. And I think, oddly enough, we're going to see them probably be interchangeable throughout the year, like you were saying. But I just think Dante's a better catch and shoot guy. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it always, whenever I've watched him, he always seems like he's better catch and shoot than he is like bringing the ball up. And Quickly at this point has been used to just being the second fiddle for the past 2 years, at least. Like once Derrick Rose more or less got benched, Quickly's been the backup point guard and plays more combo guard only when Brunson's out there, and otherwise is the primary point guard. So early on in the season, it makes sense for Tibbs and them to try to experiment to see both of them bring it up, because the backup unit for the most part is Hart, RJ, and the two of them plus a big. All 4 of those guys can just run and gun, which is the idea. So he probably wants everyone to get a touch, but I do feel like once we get a few more weeks into the season, Quickly is going to still be the one of the 4 of them that's on the ball the most to bring it up, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Also, just want to highlight some comments here. I forgot that we were getting comments, but I want to put some on the screen.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
not paying attention to that. I literally had it blocked by stats.
No, it's all right. Shout out to Morning Brew Sports. Thank you for tuning in, and as they said, shout out to the chat. I'm gonna show a few of these comments here.
G Money, what up?
For everyone tuning in, thank you. For everyone commenting, thank you. We'll get to the comments. Hopefully now. Let's see. A solid back-to-back games from RJ. We agree.
Keep it up.
Keep it up, RJ. Stay consistent. We love what we're seeing from him. You can't really ask for anything more than this type of RJ Barrett.
RJ, I never want to feel like I should compare you to Zach Wilson ever again.
Did you do that?
Many times in the past 2 years have I compared RJ Barrett and Zach Wilson. I've also compared Cam Reddish to Zach Wilson, which really goes to show you how much I think of Zach Wilson as my team's quarterback, unfortunately. But yeah, I want greatness to show off the screen for a guy drafted that high. I don't want to constantly have to vouch for someone to other people that I think they are great or not. And I don't want to constantly have to convince a fan base I don't know what this guy's value is in the open market, because for some reason when he does well, the team does bad. And when he does bad, he gets benched and the team does better. if you have a negative 10 net rating, that jumps off the screen very easily to a lot of people, including front offices and GMs. Just be great and show greatness, dude. You're the 3rd overall pick. You're 23 years old. If I ever compare you to Zach Wilson again, it's because Zach Wilson skyrocketed, not because you took a tumble.
Oh my God. No, you're never going to do that again. Hopefully this year he could prove you wrong.
I hope so.
Salute to Gideon. I hope I pronounced that right. That's how you pronounce that, right?
He goes by G Money.
G Money. Salute to you. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know if you're still here. Some of these comments were a little bit later. He also said battle to the end and the Knicks win. Yeah, that was a battle, especially in the second half when both teams were hitting back-to-back threes. It felt like I don't know what I was watching. What is this? They were just pulling up threes on both ends of the court and making them. I mean, very efficient.
It really started at the end of the first quarter. The end of the first quarter, it was like 28-21 with like 2.5, 3 minutes left. And I'm like, all right, sick. I'm going to hit the first leg of my parlay because I took the first quarter under. And then the Hawks got 9 points on threes in 1 minute. And the Knicks also got 5 points in that minute. And I lost immediately.
Oh, no. Oh,
but I mean, that was just a prerequisite from the last 2 minutes of the first quarter all the way till there was 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then they both forgot how to play offense.
No, literally. There was like they showed it on the screen. The Knicks went 3 minutes without scoring, I think in the fourth quarter, or it might have been that third quarter stretch. I'm not sure which one it was, third or fourth, but it just goes to show like our offense becomes so like helpless at some points that we can't score in minutes.
Yeah, it's really annoying to go through too. It's like they'll be so fast operating. And again, we play with 4 guards a lot. And Randall, in essence, is supposed to be able to bring the ball up the court, which unfortunately, when Randall brings the ball up the court, he does slow it down most of the time. Again, in this game, it worked because he got to back down the double team against a guard, yada, yada. But when they have 4 guards out there, why aren't they running all the time? Like, it's not like you don't have to set up Mitch or Ihart. They're not asking for the ball in the low block. Just keep running and gunning for a little bit.
Yeah. I want to point out this comment. We survived. 100 people said, what about that Grimes looked scared on the offense? Do you think he looks scared out there?
Can I just say that you said we survived 100 people instead of we surveyed 100 people?
Oh my God. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's by the way, shout out Family Feud. Oh, it's all good. Shout out Family Feud because the we surveyed 100 people is always the funniest things. Oh, I love that. Grimes is becoming... I mean, isn't Grimes the reason why everyone that wants Emmanuel Quickley to be a starter? It's obviously that we shouldn't... I understand why Quickley comes off the bench. It's to run the second unit, and Grimes does definitely help being the best on-ball perimeter defender, 1v1 on-ball perimeter defender. I think Hart is better as a conglomerate of help defense. Quickley is better off ball. DDB, we're going to see as time goes on, is both better off ball. But Grimes is the best straight up man-to-man defender, unless they're Jason Tatum's height, which, dude, he's 6'4". He can't cover 6'10". I'm sorry. But he does look scared on offense. And it's just... when he gets the first catch and shoot in the first quarter, like early on, Grimes is like the guard version of a center from 15, 20 years ago, where they used to be like, all right, we got to get Perkins the ball so he gets this quick 2 to start the game. And then Westbrook, Harden, and Durant, you never have to give him the ball back. Don't worry about it. It's just so he feels good about the game. That's what Grimes is. It's like he needs to feel good by getting a shot up early. And then when he doesn't get the shot up early, he folds into a turtle. He becomes a pigs in a blanket. I don't even know. Why doesn't Quentin Grimes average 18 points on 12 shots right now? I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either. I don't know if I would say he looks scared. Maybe he's very hesitant because
skittish.
There was a few shots I saw that he passed up. Even Mike Breen and Walt Clyde Frazier pointed it out on the broadcast. They said, why would he pass that up? He should be taking those shots. when someone drives in and kicks it out to him, I think he should be taking that three. He shouldn't be passing it along unless, of course, he's being like
Facts.
fully covered. But yeah, like that's where he should get most of his points because they're doing that a lot. Driving in, kicking out, and Randall's getting double teamed a lot as well. So he's making a lot of those passes out there. He should definitely take more of those shots instead of being so hesitant or, like they said, scared.
For all the things that Quentin Grimes has probably learned from Josh Hart in the past 9 months or 8 months, let's not make being scared to shoot threes be one of them, huh?
Another comment by them. They said glad Mitch wasn't in foul trouble, but he needs to step it up and recover better when he has to be that help defender in the paint. What do you think about that?
I think there's times where because he relies on his height a lot and he just thinks he can cover more ground than he does. And I feel like a lot of times Jalen Johnson specifically surprised him with how long and how fast and athletic he is, because Jalen Johnson barely ever showed that on tape at all in the past year. Honestly, the dude averaged like 6 points a game and wasn't in the game half the time. Now he's their primary, he's their sixth man, and he's just exploding for two-handed dunks to become one-handed dunk and ones. And you're like, Jalen Johnson or Michael Jordan? That's not a thing I ever thought I would have to say, one or the other. But I feel like Mitch, just sometimes still thinks he's 19 or 20-year-old Mitch, and he expects to be able to cover more ground by leaping and his blocking ability than he really can anymore. Because the Hawks play Clint Capella most of the time and Okongwu. It's not like they're Porzingis. They're not picking and popping. They're not 20 feet beyond the rim. They're right next to each other. So in essence, he should be able to help off those guys. But at the same time, the one great play he did make, the one I said at the beginning, the fingertip on the lob from Trae to Capella that could have tied the game with 25, 30 seconds left. He just tipped that because he stayed home. And by him staying home and being in the perfect position, which Trae Young is 6'1", so he's probably one of the only guards he could in essence guard both Capella and Young on when Young goes too close to the hoop. But he helped at the right time. He helped at the right distance at the right time. I just think he is caught off. He was caught off guard by Johnson a few times. And I mean, outside of DeJounte Murray, and DeAndre Hunter had a great game, and he only drove a few times. So both those guys are 6'6", 6'7", and both didn't show a lot last year. So maybe it was just a scouting report thing that he didn't cover as much ground as we wanted him to.
Yeah. I want to point out, there's one more comment specifically for you out here, I think.
Uh-oh. Am I ready for it? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Mormon Zac Efron. Oh, my God. Better than the MILF Hunter.
Oh, my God. My laptop will be dying soon, and I don't want to I don't want it to die because then I'm not sure if you're able to still control the stream or even end it because you're a guest.
Okay, so let's just give this is a good half hour. Give any closing comments you want and we'll get out of here because there's another game tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a longer one tomorrow if you're able to make it. But yeah, I'm really happy the Knicks got a win. Definitely would have liked to talk more, but I'm sorry about my laptop issues right now. What are you doing?
Jameis Winston eating them dubs, baby. Got to eat more W's.
All right. First win of the season. Many more to come. Maybe tomorrow night.
RJ Barrett, if you could play like it's March and April the whole year, man, you actually might be an all-star.
But yeah, the Knicks play tomorrow night against the Pelicans, I believe, at 7 p.m. So they're on the road still, right?
Yeah.
It is an away game. We will have another post game after that. So stay tuned. And thank you all for tuning in, commenting. And if you're watching on the replay, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys.
Let's go, Knicks. F you, Zion.